Well, yeah, so festival announcements. Download today made the pretty huge announcement, and bravo to them for not building it up for no reason, and also going, well, we'll do all our headliners, but also we're going to do 9 more on top of that, so that you've got a great reason to buy tickets.
Something interesting happened today, actually, around the download thing, which I thought was quite funny.
Go on.
But I guess we'll get into this a bit more when we talk through the download bands. But at the same time as the download announcement coming out today, we also posted a video in the last day or two of you guys pulling out the festivals.
Yeah.
And we did our download 2004.
That's right.
And it was quite funny that actually when I looked at the download 2020 lineup, in my head I was kind of like, could have been the 2004 one well, to be honest.
There's been a lot of that.
Bands was like, could be any download. There's
been a lot of that pushback on social media over that, and for rightfully so. Because we'll go through the bands now. So 3 headliners. The Friday night headliner is Kiss as part of an exclusive last ever UK show as part of this Goodbye Kiss thing they're supposedly doing. I say supposedly because I'm not ever convinced with Kiss.
Nah, I've been going on for a while as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like Slayer one.
Yeah.
3 years later, and you're still not finished because you want to play everywhere.
So yeah, I mean, that's Kiss, isn't it?
Well, we'll do that. We'll go through them all, and we'll come back to that.
Yeah,
so Saturday night headliner is Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Sunday is System of a Down. And then the additional bands added were Deftones, Korn, The Offspring, Disturbed, Gojira, L Storm, Black Veil Brides, Daughtery, and Of Mice and Men. Do you want to give your what you thought? Yeah.
Well, the first bit of good news of all of that for me, genuinely, was that should be enough now to die down this silly Korn at Bloodstock rumour.
Yes.
I know it's not impossible that a band does download and Bloodstock, but it's massively
unlikely.
common either.
Not to be given a headline slot while playing download at a lower position.
And it was just every Bloodstock announcement, it seemed that Korn wheel the rumour wheel was getting bigger and bigger, and I was like, sure,
scary,
it can't be right, man. But anyway, so my honest opinion out of that is, while I like a fair few of the bands that are playing there, it feels like a retro festival. That's what it feels like. I mean, I've gotten very little interest in modern Kiss. I like any human being. I'll always like a couple of Kiss tracks.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but I couldn't care less about seeing them headline. Maiden are cool as fuck, but Maiden, I've always been Maiden, and I've got no problem with Maiden being a headliner because they're kind of more iconic. System of a Down is a booking based on name, name alone.
Absolutely.
Give me any reason why they deserve it these days. Not saying that it's a look back to the past, isn't it? Go, hey, I guess what is it going to be, like a reunion, a one-off show, or is it, who knows? They're going to release music in the build up to it. Well, I kind of get the impression that they don't like each other that much, that they're going to get back together and record in the studio.
Right. But before you get into the other bands, then I'll give my take on the headline, because I'm exactly like you. I was like, well, it's certainly download. That's what I was like. Well, it's download. Yeah. I realised the strength in it. I realised that for a casual festival goer, person that likes to dip their toe in rock and metal and all that, this is fucking awesome, and that's great. If you're a regular tender, you're going to go anyway, and these are just massive, massive bands. Is it uninspired? Absolutely. However, I do have a little, not sympathy, because they've done it to themselves, but Download I feel, booked themselves into a corner now, where if they don't announce bands of this size, regardless of how many times they played or when they last played and so on, there's going to be an uproar. They charge so much for tickets, they now have to provide this. They did it to themselves, so I haven't got sympathy for them. But this bubble, this is going to burst, because you can't keep trotting these bands. Well, Kiss is now apparently the last ever show. Alongside, who was it last year that did a last ever show? Oh, who was it? Oh, Slayer was one of the ones. Yeah. So, I mean, all these... But in Slayer were never headlining. But
the thing with that, like, you're right, I get it. They back themselves in a corner. They got a book of a scale now. Mm-hmm. But there are still very, very huge bands out there that aren't within that pool of 12 or 15 that they seem to use. Like, a nice question probably out of all of this, I get it. Kiss's last final show in the UK, apparently. If so, good booking.
Yep.
Why not? Maiden, if you're going to have your solid Saturday night, your banker.
Maiden.
Good. I don't get the System one.
Right.
Because there are bigger bands, current bands, I think, than System, who are big on name now alone.
Right. So one of the things I was quite right, you brought it up, so I'm going to get to the System one. I've been avoiding saying them because I'm going to lose my fucking shit over this.
Ooh.
Basically, Kiss, I exactly agree with you 100%. If it's the last of a UK show, It's going to be something like that. It's a good way to finish it's good smart by Download.
Yeah.
Maiden are Maiden. They'll headline Download always. The headline any festival they go to. I do think it's important to bear this in mind. This is not an exclusive, but also this is part of this Legacy of the Beast 2, I think it is, tour. They're doing it in the US. Basically, I want to see Maiden live. I haven't seen them for many, many years, and I really want to go to a best of. We've talked about this in the past.
Yeah.
I'm confident, very confident, that basically after this festival show, we will get this Legacy of the Beast UK tour.
I would imagine they'll end it. The UK will be the big ending part of the tour.
Exactly. So it's not a selling point. System of a Down. Now this is this is the one where I'm just like, this is unacceptable booking. They played there 2 years ago. 2 fucking years ago, I was ranting on podcasts and videos on this site about 2 years ago. They had nothing new, hadn't released any new music. The members don't even fucking like each other. You watch them and see videos on stage, and it's literally like they're playing in their own bubbles. I was at that Download because I got free tickets, and I watched 3-4 songs of System of a Down, and I walked off and went and watched Exodus instead because I couldn't believe how shit it was and how disinterested, and that really bothers me. For them to be here again with no new music, nothing new, nothing at all. They're a nostalgic act that don't even like each other anymore, and unless they're planning something new. But I said this 2 years ago.
I don't care. Yeah, I mean, even if they are. This is the problem. This is like we know they'll sell tickets, and that's why for Download it's a good booking. It's not. This isn't saying Download. It's a shame that it has to be that way, but that's the reality of it. But if System of a Down dropped a new album next month, or a single and started saying, look, we're gonna have a new album out by early 2020, that still doesn't mean that you get a headline slot at a festival off the back of that.
God,
people don't even know if it's good yet. And they're already booked. Why does it have to be good? Why do they? We don't like by just giving bands bookings. Like if you want more System music, stop booking them.
Yeah. Yes.
Then guess what? They'll probably release music so they can get back on the fucking money train.
They have been booked on the strength of albums that were released in early 2000 to mid 2000, and that is it. They are doing nothing. They literally, I find it absolutely a shocking announcement, particularly if it was the first time they played in 10 years. I'd be like, fair enough. 2 years ago, they did exactly the same spot, and they're the Sunday night. Why aren't Kiss? I realise it's like that should have been the Sunday night end.
Probably whatever Kiss's schedule is more.
Of course, but you'd think Kiss is the ending.
Yeah. So I mean, we're in the same mind with System of a Down. I don't get it, and I think part of this is because maybe we're not quite in that commercial Download camp with some of this stuff. And what I see basically are bands below that I think like, why the fuck are System of a Down above this band?
Right.
And the big one for that for me is obviously Gojira.
Oh, okay. See, I'm going to go with another one. And it's been again a general internet thing, and I agree with it based on the fact of the relevancy of this band.
Oh yeah, I know you were going to say but this is just my personal like.
Oh yeah, personally, Gojira should be fucking headlining that shit.
Personal thing, don't get me wrong, but like I agree with you. I mean, for the bands below them, and even though they're not necessarily my cup of tea, even Disturbed are bigger news this day as a band, especially off the back of all the
new album, Sound of Silence.
Got them up on like mainstream fucking American TV at peak times.
And they literally had an album out in the last 6 months.
So for me, every time a festival or a venue or anything books a band like a System of a Down who aren't even active technically as a band above a band like Gojira, I take it as a personal slap around the face. I do, and I know it's not meant. They didn't think they were going to go, let's piss Brendan off. But that's what I feel it is. It's like, so how hard do you have to work as a band to get a headline slot when then other bands are just like, all you have to do is release 2-3 albums like 20 years ago, and that's enough for the rest of our careers.
Basically, yeah.
And I find that quite disappointing.
What's quite interesting as well about that is in 2009 or 8, I can't remember, whichever one that had Lost Prophets, Offspring, and someone else, Kiss headlining my first Download. Offspring were a headliner then. In that period, Offspring have released not as widely appreciated or liked albums and have dropped off the radar quite a bit. Because of that, they're no longer a headliner. They're part of the 9 bands announced. Yeah. Why the fuck is that not the case for System then?
But and that's what happens to a lot of bands. Like you have a blip in your career or you disappear for a while or whatever it might be. you tend to drop down the pecking order. And I would argue, now this isn't going to turn into a Korn rant, but I would argue that if it wasn't for Korn's quite fucking massive 6-8 year blip in their metal career, they were well on the trajectory to being the headliner at Download.
That's brilliant.
I honestly believe that. But they had a period where they kind of dropped off the radar, they went their own way a little bit, and now they're coming back and they're working their way back up the stages.
Yep.
Because that's what you do.
Yeah.
You know, 3 albums out 2 decades ago, or like 15 years ago, or whatever. And I would argue as well that not all 3 albums are like back-to-back quality.
We're talking about Toxicity here, really. That's the album that seems to have kept them at this position. They're a nostalgic act.
But yeah, so I don't know. I'm not in a band, so it doesn't really matter. I'd be disappointed if I was in a Gojira or something like that, working my nuts off. I had a great fucking year last year. Yeah, we headlined Bloodstock. We've been all around the world, festivals all over the place, and everywhere we smashed it. We went to Glastonbury and smashed it. We did everything. Come to Download, they put System of a Down above you. I'll be a bit like, oh, fucking hell. What have you got to do to crack this market?
Yeah.
Be older or stop releasing music, maybe.
Maybe.
And then they'll remember us in 10 years' time and go, oh, should we get Gojira back?
You'll be old enough to be a nostalgic
probably the biggest surprise from the whole Download announcement for me was that they haven't found a way to to shoehorn Ozzy in there somewhere.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But then right now he's so in ill health, I don't think he could take the bloody risk.
I just thought they would have found a way, wheel him out there somehow.
The biggest surprise for me...
System down with Ozzy or something.
The biggest surprise for me, although there's still plenty of announcements to come, but the fact that this first announcement didn't include Five Finger Death Punch or Baby Metal as they're the 2 go-to downloaders.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, is like, overall I'm actually very positive about this announcement, ignoring System of a Down, purely because I feel it touches, for variety, it touches everything. For your alternative rock and metal fan who isn't, like I said, who isn't so into it that they go to Bloodstocks or Metal Fest or Wacken and stuff like that, this is perfect. Deftones, they cover a lot of bases. Always a good live band. Korn, as we've talked about, right now everything is coming up Korn, basically. The Offspring, who knows with them, but it's the Offspring, you know. You're guaranteed a fun time, I'm pretty sure, with that. Particularly a festival set.
Yeah, you should do,
yeah. Disturbed, as Brendan already said, they're currently relevant as fuck.
Yeah.
Gojira, probably coming off arguably the best year.
Yeah, probably got to be their strongest year. And at least from a UK perspective anyway. I don't know how they might have already been hitting them scales around Europe, but from the UK, we see them like literally sell out Brixton Academy to the point of like barely being able to breathe and move. Bloodstock, Glastonbury, which are like, you know, it's not our cup of tea, but I can acknowledge the fact that that's a big deal for a band to get invited to Glastonbury.
Absolutely,
you know.
Yeah. Elstorm, they're fine. They'll go down great at Download.
They'll be good fun there, won't they?
Black Veil Brides. There's a fan base out there. There's a big fan base. I don't get them, but there you go. Daughtery. I know the name, but I'm so familiar.
I don't know them at all. I was the only one out of all of them I didn't know, and I kind of felt like I should because of the fact that it was included in this collection of, whether I like them or not, very famous bands, very well-known bands, and then there was one in there, so I kind of felt like it's probably a band I've missed rather than a small band.
I know the name, but as I say, I couldn't. Familiarity ends there. And the Reborn, the Restart. Talking about a band having to work their way back up. It's of Mice and Men. They obviously, since having to change singers and so on, the last London show was the Underworld. They went from playing Brixton to the Underworld, man. Yeah. It's they got to work their way back up, but they're on there as well.
I mean, I agree with you that to a festival fan who likes a bit of rock, likes a little bit of metal, maybe wants to get dip his toes in, that sort of thing, it's a great lineup. But for you personally, like, I look at that lineup and I think, I mean, I know we haven't got day splits and stuff like that, so that's what's difficult to it. But I probably only would really care about seeing 2 bands on that whole lineup. There's 2. Don't get me wrong. There's 2 more I wouldn't mind seeing if I was there.
Yeah.
But I only would be like, I would really like to go there to see the 2 bands, which would be Gojira and Maiden.
Yeah, I figured you'd say that.
And then the 2 that I would be like, if I was there, that'd be cool. I would check out the Offspring and probably enjoy it dramatically, and I'd check out Korn and probably, and maybe, I don't know, maybe make my mind up once and for all how I feel after everything.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the biggest decider, right? Next time you catch them live.
And Deftones are cool, were in the past, but for me, I never really got into modern Deftones, so for me, I see them very much as a nostalgic act. And obviously, I've told you before, about how my experiences of them live, which was at a festival, which was a long time ago, when they weren't clean, was probably up there with Manson for the worst show I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, of course. I can't remember what episode that is, but Brendan did tell this story.
Yeah. But if I looked at that there and I say, do you know what? If the days aligned, and say on Saturday with Maiden headlining, it also happened to be the day that Gojira, Offspring, and Korn were playing. I'm looking at that and thinking that's a day ticket. That's worth a day ticket. There for them 4 bands.
Yeah.
you know, and then anything else that gets a bonus.
Yeah, I agree with you. You basically nailed it into bands I'm interested in. I'm probably, I mean, that's it. I mean, we won't keep going on and on about it. It's just, like I said, I mean, the system one really rankles us both, as you can tell.
Yeah.
That's the biggest disappointment of all on all levels. But there you go. It's happening no matter what. Maybe it'll be.
Or is it? Who knows?
Maybe it'll be a complete shocker, and it'll be a different system, a reborn system. I'm just not betting on it.